Welcome to KocoSports. I am the huge one, aka Dave Coco from KocoSports.com or KocoSports.net. It's where the world comes to kick ass, your home for combat sports, and above all, where it's okay to be a passionate fan. And we're reading this off KocoSports.net, posted by David Cooey. If Anderson Silva is serious about the ultimatum to the UFC, we may have seen the last of the longtime middleweight champ. On Monday, Silva went on the MMA Hour and declared that he would retire if the UFC don't book him against Romero at UFC 212 on June 3rd in Rio de Janeiro. Now, UFC President Dana White has answered the demand, and the answer is no. White told TMZ that the UFC would not be giving the 42-year-old Silva an interim title shot. And just this week, I don't know if it's the MMA Hour, I don't know if it's MMA, UFC, it's just been depressing to be an MMA fan, a UFC fan. It just seems like all the big fights are postponed, all the fights that matter. Something good has to happen to the UFC. And we've been talking about this, it just seems like all the news is the UFC is a bunch of dicks and underpay their fighters. Their fighters are a bunch of assholes and don't want to fight for championships. And it just seems like the news is nothing but drama. When's the last time we heard a super fight? When's the last time we've seen a super fight? It just seems like the MMA and UFC in general just are in a big slump right now. So basically, he goes on to say, if you're going to use the R word, retirement, that you should probably do it. He will not do an interim title, which, I don't want to see Anderson Silva retire. But the interim title shots are a bit ridiculous. I think we should get rid of them. And it just seems like right now, the MMA, UFC, because the thing is, what made the UFC great at one point was that they seemed to be the only game in town. They took over Pride, they took over everything. I know there's still Bellator and stuff, but they're pretty much as close to a monopoly as you can get. And we always said if there was one championship, one group, one monopoly in boxing wouldn't have these problems. Boxing wouldn't have the, 800 champions. Boxing wouldn't have, that's my phone. Boxing wouldn't have all this crap going down. And to me, I believed it. I really did. I was like, all right, well, we won't have all the problems that we have in boxing. But this week, with all the interviews on MMA Weekly with Nate Diaz, Anderson Silva, it seems like it's become more like boxing every day. There's always interim title shots. There's always threats of retirement. There's everyone saying they're underpaid. And it's just, man, I can't wait to start covering MMA and UFC news that isn't a fighter pissed off at the company or the company treating the fighters like shit. It just seems to be a trend right now. We need a super fight now more than ever. Anyway, if you were Dana White, would you give Anderson Silva what they wanted? And you got to remember, one time he had 10 title defenses, 16-0. Anderson Silva at one time was the greatest fighter of all time and, pound for pound best. And now, wanting a title shot. And for the record, Michael Bisping isn't injured. He isn't shelved, as the article says. He's ready and willing to fight, but he's waiting for that big fight with George St. Pierre, which he announced. George St. Pierre says it probably ain't going to happen in October. It's not going to happen until October and maybe later. So, dear Dana White, dear MMA, come on, let's have some good news. Let's turn this around. If you were Dana White, what would you do about the Anderson Silva situation? With that, check out KocoSports.net, Operation Freak Show, and with that, I am